Welcome to another episode of Independent Artists Unite Song Series. Very excited tonight, people. It's been very hard to get this person on the show. Very excited to have Balaj here from Like What. Woo!
Yeah. Hey, Scott. Thanks for having me. Sorry
Welcome.
for the technical stuff. This is my first video interview, so that's why I took a little bit longer than usual.
Well, I
Sorry
mean,
about that.
a lot of people say that they come on this show, and I always say, well, it's a perfect place to practice for all the interviews you're going to have to do when the career really takes off. You got to practice these
Absolutely.
things.
No, I'm happy to be here.
And so now we're going from Copenhagen to New York City, but
Correct.
you're from Hungary.
I'm from Hungary, yes, but I
And
live
what
in New York for 7, 8 years now.
oh, so many years? And what
So,
city in Hungary are you from?
I was born in the south of the country, but I lived
Okay,
in Budapest
okay.
most of my adult life. And then I moved to Chicago, then to New York. Yeah, I'm in the US for
Wow.
almost 10 years now.
And were you in bands or did you do music growing up in Hungary?
Yeah. I did. I played the guitar for a long time, but
Okay.
on a very amateur level, to be honest.
So
But it's a learning process, you know. So
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I played it's some bands also in Chicago.
Oh, in
So
Chicago
but
too.
but it was
Okay.
mostly about the guitar. Yeah.
Yeah. And were you writing your own songs along the way or
It came really recently and very late.
okay.
So I just started to work on my own songs during the pandemic.
Oh, okay,
And
that's
that's
right. Yeah.
where synths came in the picture. You know, when I was alone, I was not able to play with anyone. There were
Yeah,
no
yeah,
drummers, there were no singers, like nobody around. So that's why I had to do everything on the DIY manner.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I tried to lay down everything myself
It's so
as much as
interesting.
I
I
could.
I keep coming across this story of people that during the pandemic or during lockdown that they turn to creativity and to music. It's like I would say maybe like half the people
Yeah,
I've talked to on this show. Yeah, I just did. I
absolutely.
just talked to a God in a black suit, and they were the same way. They started during the pandemic. It was very interesting to me that something so like horrible had these really cool, beautiful, creative kind of blossoming that came out of it.
Yeah, but you know, maybe it was just simply more free time and we were able to channel our energies on one or two things that we really like.
Yeah,
There were
yeah,
not too many distractions, not going out and so on. Maybe that's another factor. We all have day jobs, right? So that also working from home all of a sudden, you know, like gave us the time of the commute at minimum.
mm.
And and yeah, without going out, it's just a lot of free time.
And when you kind of dove into writing your own songs and you found these synth sounds and were you just like, oh, I love this synth sound, I'm just gonna stick with this, or how did that
That's
develop?
That's exactly how it came. I
Okay,
was just amazed by the versatility, you know,
yeah, yeah,
because when I was playing the guitar, I was not really a pedal guy, so my guitar more or less sounded the same in every song.
okay, yeah,
Maybe not literally, but you know what I mean. But
yeah,
then compared to that, all of a sudden, these synthesized sounds sounded like amazing, and each and every song was different. So it was more or less kind of an experimental process,
yeah.
you know, in the meantime, like creating music, but also discovering new sounds and new instruments. But okay, digitally, that also I have to admit.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm far from being, you know, like a professional keyboard player. But that really opened up like a new world and a new sonic sphere for me.
yeah. And so, but when you heard these sounds, were there like artists that you knew from your past or anything? You were like, oh, it kind of sounds like this. I kind of want to go in this direction. or I mean, I'm thinking because I hear like the '80s vibe, or maybe like Gary Newman or something like that.
Gary Numan, Depeche Mode, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
I listened to these guys recently and before working on my own music, but I think it's just formed on the way. Like the
Yeah.
original idea was just to blend the synths with my guitar. That was the original idea. And
Okay.
then all of a sudden I just realized that everything shifted towards the synths maybe a
Yeah.
little bit too much. Now I try to compensate it, in other songs, more guitars.
Yeah.
But all of this was because I was experimenting, so I didn't have like a clear direction. I was just playing around and so where it goes. But the second album in this sense is different because here I just didn't care. I said, okay, if apparently I like working with synths more, I will just do it with synths and just color it up with a guitar if I want to.
Yeah.
So that kind of I didn't give myself these barriers. I didn't set myself into this concept that I just verbalized in the beginning. I
Yeah.
just let it go and then it was more free.
Okay. I'm just wondering because I was through the same process myself, and
Mhm.
but did you have like a certain universe of sounds that you thought, okay, this sounds good. I'm going to stick with this kind of stuff because the whole album sounds really cohesive.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is
Yeah.
much more coherent. Um, but really without knowing it or intentionally
Okay.
setting
Yeah.
up rules. So the second one was in this sense, I think more what I just figured out I'm good at or I like to think I'm good at
Mm,
and just use it as much and as good as I could.
yeah.
The first one was really much more experimental and I enjoyed both really and I think the first one was more or less like kind of trailblazing and the second one
Mm,
was when I already felt like okay I have my sound I know what I'm doing I know what I want and I think this came across much better in the second one.
yeah. And where did we're going to talk about Unpunctuated today.
Yeah.
Where did that come in the process of the second album? Was it early in the writing process or?
Yeah, that was one of the first songs I finished, and that was also kind of pandemic related topic, with all these distance friendships and relationship and virtual meetings, and that we all lived for a year, and the form of communication, of course.
Hmm,
So I think that was the first that I finished and then I was just putting together the other songs that are mostly based on movies, because that was the other thing I was doing during the pandemic, like
okay, yeah.
watching movies and binge watching series, and practically that's my life, in the last few years during the pandemic, and and practically that's how it all started. So that was the very first song. And I really thought that it was a happy song. I don't know. At first I told myself, okay, so apparently I can write happy songs. And I showed it to my music teacher, and then she said that, wow, this is far from being happy. There is a quiet sadness from the beginning. And I was like,
Yeah,
that's actually true. It's not intentional, but it is there, that definitely. And that's why the bridge came in that made it a little bit more present and more emphasized that okay, so we are talking about something funny on the surface, but then if you think about it seriously, it's not that funny.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so I only had one almost happy song and I managed to ruin it, but I think it came out well. I think it's a nice song.
Yeah, I mean, I love the lyrics because it's like of course everyone's got to go listen to Unpunctuated, but it's very much like just like, I mean, can you recite the lyrics or
Yeah,
watch it?
it's you like 6 p.m. in the time zone, or like literally, or you want me to summarize like what it is about?
Yeah, can you read the lyrics? Because I think it's cool. It's kind of like
I don't have them.
oh really? Okay. I think I have them
Don't you
actually.
have it?
But
I'm sorry, I
I
didn't
really
prepare.
no, I'm sorry. I'm springing it on you. But yeah, but it's just so much like every day, can I read it? It's okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it's 6 p.m. in your time zone, just finished work. You're on your way home to have some dinner and charge your iPhone. So you can start to send out all those unpunctuated free messages, animations and gold emojis, unpunctuated free messages, animations and gold emojis. 6 o'clock in the evening, I finish work and go for a drink. You're asleep. It's too late to call, but I still have countless of your unpunctuated free messages, animations and gold emojis, unpunctuated free messages, animations and gold emojis. You've always had your own path to find. Somewhere down the road, we might collide. Unpunctuated free messages, animations, and gold emojis. Unpunctuated free messages, animations, and gold emojis.
Yeah,
It
it's
is a bit
awkward to
sad.
hear it. And, yeah,
It is.
that's
It
the
is.
guy.
It is a bit sad, actually. Yeah, because it's very. It sounds very isolated. It has that isolated feeling from the pandemic,
Uh,
I think.
exactly, and also because of the time zones, right? It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the lack of synchronicity in the free time or the time that you can communicate, and all that's left is really those few liners on WhatsApp or other platforms. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it makes it very timely, I mean, that's what I love those, just like the matter of factness of the lyrics, you know. And I
Yeah,
actually didn't know you were saying in gold emojis, and until I read the lyrics, it's like, oh my God, that's
yeah, the gold emojis,
because
exactly.
you say it in a gold emojis. It's a little bit like a rhythmic thing, and I was like, oh my God, that's so funny.
This is, and
But
I
it's
like the
true.
title. I think
Yeah, yeah,
it's not really a pop song title.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean that's kind of like there's kind of like some loneliness in that too, because it's I mean how we punctuate these text messages are like,
You just don't
we
care. You
you
just
you
put it
just
out there, you just send it without
yeah.
checking, and then even if there's a typo, it doesn't matter. You will correct in another one. It doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
matter. Yeah, it's
But
just
I mean,
there.
on one hand, but if it's like to your romantic partner or something like that, you can or I find myself poring over which emoji I'm gonna put, and oh, I better put the hearts in there. I better,
Yeah,
otherwise, a
exactly.
whole different tone can be read into the text.
Yeah,
So it's like
exactly.
when the concept of it being completely unpunctuated is kind of like, oh, you mean
It is.
that's how you kind of give the meaning to the text and make sure that it's going to be received in the right way.
That it's understood, right? Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great
That's
concept.
the modern form of communication, and yeah, that's how we all do it. It's not that I'm better and I'm just judging others. Like, no, it's how we all
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
just
It's
the
not
way it is. Yeah.
exactly that's how we do it.
And so I know we're not talking about the Dance Miss version, but because when I was in New York, we grabbed a drink
Mm,
together, and you told me it was a fun story about how you hired this a guy to mix this
yeah,
song,
actually,
and it ended up
yeah,
in a certain way you weren't too sure about until someone weighed in with her opinion.
exactly. And honestly, it's so awesome. But I think it's I don't know if you heard the original and then after you go for the dance mix, I think it's fine. I would feel awkward if someone hears that for the first as a first,
Yeah.
because after that the original, I don't know, I don't know, I would just feel awkward
Mm,
if that's the so-called original,
yeah.
my version is the
But it was
secondary. No, I think the first one, the original is really is a whole, and it's complete. It has all the things that it has to say. And the second one is really just the fun part that tries to squeeze the happiness out of it as much as it's possible. But that's nice too. It's I'm not saying it's bad. It's just I think the original is much more closer to the original concept and the original feeling. That's the only thing. But if you want to, yeah, I want some dance version, there it is, and you can have some
But
fun.
but weren't you thinking you were thinking this would be a single, and so you got this guy to mix it, and that was going to be the one version, right?
Exactly.
All right,
Exactly.
tell the whole story.
No,
This is a
it's
fun
just
story.
I never worked with a producer, and that was it. And I think honestly, the guy did a great job. I'm not saying that, but when
Yeah,
I heard that, I said, okay, this is awesome. Let's keep it for a kind of remix, but let's do my version, and then we will polish the second one for differently. It's and he's a really great guy. Honestly, he's really good. He's just maybe I'm a control freak, or I I had something different
yeah,
in
yeah,
mind, so we didn't match in that. And
yeah.
I don't know. It was an interesting experience, but also for me, it was kind of a sign that I'm maybe a control freak. I have my own ideas, and maybe I'm too stubborn to give
Yeah.
those up. And even if the ideas are better than mine, I still I don't know. I like
Yeah,
mine.
you had that original vision. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And but one, weren't you kind of like, I'm not too sure about this at all, and you put it in the car or something, and your girlfriend heard it, or
Yeah,
you tell me
yeah,
that?
exactly.
Yeah.
We were traveling with my
And
girlfriend.
and
Yeah,
she
and
was
he
like,
sent it
you're
over.
like, I'm not
Yeah,
so sure about this, and she's like, this is awesome.
exactly. That was the reason why I just didn't, put it aside and you say, okay, let's do a real version. No, she just liked it so much, then I thought, okay, we keep this one, but as a secondary, and let me work on my version. So, yes, that was funny. But yeah, she likes dancing. And really, honestly, I like that version too. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not what I had in mind.
And
I cannot imagine how people can work with big producer on all their songs. I'm sure that it's more professional, and I wish I was more professional myself too. But it's just not exactly what you imagine. I don't know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, well, I mean, you do a
but it
great job
helps.
on
It
your
helps a
own.
lot.
It's yeah, yeah. It's I mean, I hadn't done that at all until James from Pain in the Ass was, and now I'm just having him mix everything, because, but
Mhm.
I think we were so on the same page. That's part of why it was like,
And
yeah,
exactly, and that's the main difference. And in this case, I agree with you. But it's more like a partnership then, right? It's not like kind of
yeah,
buying the solar service, or I don't know. But I don't want to to speak bad about these kind of things because it's natural and it's part of a process, and that's how the industry is. So I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just thinking that maybe on my level, and also because I'm a control freak, most probably for me it doesn't work that much. But if you find a
yeah,
partner like you and James did, I think you kind of collaborate, right? So it's just
yeah,
everybody has their own roles. You are writing and composing, and he's mixing. I can see that work really, and I appreciate those. I wouldn't call it collaborations, but like common works.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's different. Yeah.
And is it a usual thing where you like finish a song and you like run it past your girlfriend? Is she like
No,
the
it was
quality control?
totally accidental. It's because we were in a hotel room, and I was just putting, I had no headphones with me, so I just put it on from the email, clicking the MP3, and that's that's how she overheard. No, no, no. Really not really, no.
What is during your like songwriting process, is there anybody that gets like demo versions and you say, "Oh, what do you think of this?" Or you just do it completely yourself? Uh,
I really do it myself. But I think it's because I'm never sure when it's ready to send. Like sometimes I
yeah.
just put it aside for a week even, or just a couple of days, and
Hmm.
then listen to it again, and I say, okay, I have to work on this more. So I'm never sure when it's done. So that's the main reason.
Um, and now, okay, so when you did the first album, you'd already been through the process of like distributing it and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then with this one, I mean, you had a little more of a strategy, didn't you, about how to promote it and where to send it
Well,
off to? And
yes, absolutely. Because over the course of those few years, you build up your relationship, you meet other musicians, you simply experience things that I was just so naively doing with,
yeah,
with the first songs. Yes, 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 of course. So I had more friends in this way who were helping me out, like playlisters and also other musicians to suggest things. I had tried different platforms online. So yeah, this time I was more experienced, but I'm far from being a professional in this. For me, this is the hardest learning, honestly.
mm,
It's like thinking that you write a song and put it out there and it will just hit it. It's not like that.
yeah. Well, it's a
Unfortunately,
totally
I wish
different,
it was.
yeah,
I
it's a
wish it
totally
was.
different
So
job, right?
exactly, and then you
Yeah,
have to do it yourself, unless you have the money and pay someone to do that for you,
yeah,
which honestly might be working much better. But on small acts, when there is literally like no income, it's a harder decision. So
yeah.
so yeah, I think I'm still in the learning process. So I'm not saying I'm doing it right, but what is sure, I do a better job than with the first album. That's absolutely sure.
Yeah. And are you I remember we talked about this in New York, but are you thinking about doing a live version of it?
Yeah, I really would love to. I really would love to go on stage with this. So I'm trying. As a one-man show, I'm not sure if I can make it interesting enough. So that's my
Mm,
my main struggle with this. But I'm sure there is a way. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this out, how to
yeah.
do it. Maybe I don't know. I have several ideas, but I'm not sure which one will work. So I really would love to in the future. But for now, I just keep it on a recording basis, and that's it. But in the future, I definitely would love to play live.
And
Live, I mean, as much live it could be, one person doing everything,
yeah, yeah.
or maybe forming a band. Yeah, that's always on the table, but yeah, it's just I wasn't too good at that and wasn't very lucky. And during the pandemic, it was not even possible. So
Yeah, yeah. Um and but when did this album come out? Was it 22 or 23?
Unpunctuated is from
Yeah.
this year in May.
That's
It was
oh, it's
released
May.
end of May,
Okay,
so
okay,
almost June,
okay.
like
Oh,
31st of May. So
yeah, yeah. And are you working on some new songs? Yeah.
yeah, after the album, I kind of just paused. I just trying to figure out what the next step should be. I have some songs written and I have some demos ready. So I'm trying to create something still, but I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how the next album should go. Like some ideas, like why it would be different than the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel that if I record a new album today, it would sound exactly like the previous one and just different songs.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to make it a little bit different, just to advance a little bit. I don't know. I'm still looking for that idea. So as our common friend Lucas suggested me, it's just in the meantime, I'm just listening to a lot of music. Sorry, you will beep it out. Like every kind of music, really,
Oh
from the
no, no,
70s,
yeah.
80s, current, like doesn't
Well,
matter. Just to have some influence and some inspiration.
he's probably telling you to make it darker. I'll try to get it
Yeah,
darker.
and more guitars, of course. He's much better at guitar than I am. Yeah.
Um,
But I think it helps really. So if you just like consume music and just listen to others playing and what they are doing, it really gives a lot of ideas and inspiration. So I'm sure I will
yeah,
find something. So that now I'm in this phase, like just kind of like listening and seeing where it goes, and I'm writing, but the production I'm still waiting for that. So I'm just like recording everything with one guitar, one vocal track, and that's it, just to remind myself what it was,
Yeah,
and then I will just produce it later. I don't know, maybe towards the end of the year when everything slows down and I have some more free time. But I really want to stay creative because I feel like if you just stop, then you will never pick it up again, right? I
mm,
just it's harder to restart and then just never stop.
yeah. But it is also nice to take a bit of a break too, I think. I mean,
Yeah,
I was on this crazy thing where I was making so much music, and now I'm like trying to slow down a little bit. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah. You need to
it's funny.
recharge and
I've
yeah.
never listened to so much music. You was talking about listening to music. I never
Mm,
listened to so much music as I am right now. I always thought like I would become too influenced by listening to other
mm,
people, and
yeah.
now I'm just like, I mean, like doing this show and like listening to um the music, listening to the other tracks that people do. It's like I'm listening to all this music and I think it must have some effect on me.
Of course.
But it's I mean, I just find it super inspiring to hear, the stories about how people create and then to like be able to have like this whole, by the way, I'll plug the Independent Artists Unite playlist of everyone that's been on the show. Like I was just listening
Hmm.
to it today and I'm just like, it's like old friends or something.
Yes,
And it's just like
absolutely.
this great community, of people that like cross promote and help each other. And it's it's really cool.
No,
Um,
absolutely. That's the one of the best part that I can say, about playing music is you can reach out to other musicians and they are like they are not like friends, they are friends, from the first second they know your stuff and then
yeah.
even if they don't know you in person because simply they check out your profile, they check out a few songs of yours, so they reply really surprisingly responsive, I would say. Like even bigger acts, like I was surprised. Like if
Oh yeah,
you
talk about some people that you become friends with, because there were some cool stories there.
yeah. I made a lot of friends actually through music. We have a common friend, Lucas. He
Yeah,
formed
yeah,
this group of independent artists called the Collective.
yeah.
We are helping each other with ideas or just to have a common chat, and sharing inspirations, ideas, and music in
Hmm.
general. So that's really helpful, and as you say, it's like all of us are living this in the same bubble practically, and it's funny when I was first sharing, this hiatus I was doing, like I'm not writing anything, I'm just listening to music after the album, and I feel horrible about it. And then all of them were saying like, why would you do that? Like, everybody needs that time. It's
Hmm.
very normal. We all do it, and you shouldn't feel bad about it. I'm like, oh, okay. So that helps, because I don't know.
Yeah,
From outside, I think that everybody's always perfect except me. I'm just struggling
yeah. Well,
with
it's
all.
interesting to learn about what people do. I mean, I
Yeah,
remember that there was like a group chat about doing vocals, and then like
yeah,
slowly but surely everybody started weighing in on how they do vocals, and it was so
yes,
interesting. People for some reason it's the when it comes to vocals, people are so like almost like superstitious, or like it's got to go this way. It's like,
yeah.
it's got to be a Thursday night, it's got to be after 10 o'clock.
Exactly. Yeah, I hear you. Because that's the most intimate part of the song, right? So that's where you open up as a person, as an artist, and yeah, that's the key point for me too. So I agree. But there are so many technical aspects to it too, and that's that you can share and that you can speak about and share experiences.
What now
It's
from that chat? I don't remember. Did you talk about your lead up to how you do vocals? I can't remember.
I
Or
didn't
do you?
really
You
dig
didn't.
into that one because I had some complexes about it. That just
Well,
I
do you do
definitely feel that
vocals at
these things,
do you
yeah,
do
the
vocals
vocals.
at a certain time, or like is it in the
No,
morning?
no,
Is it in the evening?
I record. I don't know. I don't want to lie, but at least like 50 times for sure. I don't know, and then I just
Really?
keep the one that I
Wow.
hate the
Okay.
least. That's how it works. I don't know. In my opinion, really the vocals are the weakest part of like what. But that's me. So I cannot do anything about
Wow.
it. I can train myself. I can like do it better. I can use better techniques. I can I don't know, do some after work. But yeah, but that's how it is. That's how I think. So
That's
I don't
so
know.
funny
I
because
didn't share experience because I don't want to misguide anyone.
well, it's so funny because I love your vocal. I mean,
Well,
if it was like I don't know, like you know, because it's so uniquely you, you know what I mean? And it's like it's so distinctive. You know, you can as soon as I hear that vocal, like if you put out new stuff and I just heard the vocal, I'd be, that's like what, you know, that's
uh,
Balaj singing there.
well,
Because it's not about being the greatest singer in the world. I mean, how can it be? Otherwise, all these people that are great singers would have the best songs also, and that's not the case, you know.
no, absolutely. I
It's
hear
like
you.
I mean, I for me it's like you know, like New Order, you know, they really like kind of broke that open because I like when I first heard New Order, I was like, what is he doing? This guy can't sing, you know.
Yeah.
Why? Why didn't they get another singer?
Okay, they are one of my
but then
inspirations, but thank you for
no, but that's the
no, I'm
thing
just kidding.
is when I really heard it, I
Mm,
was like, oh, this is fucking great. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It would be a totally different thing if it wasn't him singing. So that's the thing is like at first I thought, oh, but I mean, of course, when I heard that, I was like, I don't know how old I was. When did they that was that 80?
80s.
I don't know, but I was
Yeah.
in high school anyway, and
Mm.
so I had started singing in bands, so I was like, this guy can't sing. I loved saying that back then, but I just totally grew to love it. And a lot of these or people that say they can't sing or I don't like my voice, those are like my favorite voices to hear, you know. It's just
Yeah,
so funny, you know.
absolutely. And
So
yeah, sometimes I feel that the whole genre or style that I'm doing, it was starting out from my voice because I was doing the same. Like if it was up to me and I could do anything, I would be, I don't know, a rock or metal or punk singer or whatever, who can shout and like be in the middle of the show. Like I would totally do that, but I cannot. My voice is not cut out for that. And I
yeah,
love the blues too. I was trying to learn the blues with vocal teachers and everything. So I really wanted to shout and do all those kind of things, but I'm not cut out for that. And it was funny when my teacher was telling me, okay, so what do you want to do if you are just giving up on the blues? So what should I teach you? And I was like, I don't know what I can do. And she said, okay, hand me over your phone. I want to look at your Spotify. And he said, okay, Depeche Mode. Okay, why don't you do Depeche Mode? Well, I can try. I don't know. And I started to sing, some songs. After Dave Gann and it clicked. And she said, "Okay, so you can do this." I'm like, okay, that sounds really good. And that's when I started to experiment with New Order. That was my second one, Fat Gadget, like
yeah,
all
yeah.
these, and just go down the rabbit hole and discover one artist after the other. And because I heard those songs before, but I never paid attention to the vocals
Hmm.
that much and the technical part like literally analyzing the songs and that's how
Yeah,
it all formed and practically I sing what I can. It's not no magic in that and and I
Yeah,
think it works. I think this kind of like cold synthesizer music and these kind of vocals without shouting, without the overdoing the emotional part. I think it blends together well.
yeah.
So that's
It
how
does.
it is for me.
It's funny. I never really thought about that as a term, but that was like a part of post-punk, right? Like
I
the first wave of
exactly.
post-punk was like because it was kind of like well, punk was it was the addition of keyboards, right? Like it's like
Yeah,
punk was
yeah,
guitar, bass, drums, and and
and
simpler
shouting. A
simpler
lot of
parts.
shouting,
Yeah,
screaming.
shouting and simple parts, simple parts. But also in a the biggest punk bands too were like really it was really like a pop song format, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like I always find that interesting too because it's like like oh punk, but it was like oh they're writing pop songs.
Mm,
I was saying to God in a Black Suit actually, where I think it was like the anniversary of Pet Cemetery of the Ramones,
hmm.
and then and I listened to a bit of the Ramones, I was like, these are all pop songs, you
Yeah,
that were supposed to be so
exactly.
brash and punk. But then it was like with post punk, it was like the addition of the keyboards. That was a big thing,
Yeah,
but it was like one note keyboards too, like a lot of it was like these very like simple keyboard parts, and
yeah.
I still think that's so effective, and I love that about your music too, that it's there are these simple parts
It is.
that you can understand, and it's just I don't know what it is about that, but that has maybe that creates a little bit of that lonely feeling too when it's that a single note, a keyboard part or something.
Yeah, absolutely. It creates a really cold atmosphere because
Yeah.
the notes are just really straight without yeah. It just cuts through.
Yeah,
That's true.
but you do some interesting
And
things
that
too.
simplicity is
Yeah,
intentional. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
lie. It's
yeah. No, I
I
mean
don't want to
it's a
create the
cool
impression that
thing.
I
Yeah,
just do like three tracks and everything is done. And no, it starts
yeah,
out
no.
with 20, and I'm
And
cutting it
you
down
cut it down.
exactly. So
Okay,
when I say,
yeah,
does it have a right? Okay, I like this track. It's cool. That's why
yeah,
it's there. But
yeah.
does it really have any additional value? Does it bring anything to the song, or it just it's pleasing my ear? No, it doesn't have any function. Okay, then cut it out, and that's it. So I'm actually narrowing it down
Okay, yeah. Oh, that makes sense now though when
tremendously.
you're saying that because there's certain parts that come in and out, so
Yeah.
maybe they were full parts that got edited down. Because I love the little like call and answer thing you do on the keyboard too when you're like,
Hmm.
unpunctuated.
Three messages. Pa, pa,
Oh
da,
yeah,
pa.
free messages. Yeah, on the keyboard.
Yeah,
A little call
exactly.
and answer with the keyboard,
Exactly. But that
and
has
then
a
it's like,
function, so it stays
yeah,
in,
yeah,
right?
it just
Exactly.
yeah, and it propels it forward, and you're like,
Mm.
it's like that's really cool in that song. What about like this music teacher that you went to? What made you decide to go to a music teacher? Was it for singing or like
No,
songwriting
actually,
or just
I started out with this like I don't want to be a singer because I cannot, but I would like to be able to communicate with musicians and to
okay,
express ideas. I would need some vocal techniques that are necessary. And then she said, okay, this is all bullshit. Everybody who comes here has to be a singer, so we will work on it.
okay,
She was a
so
really
you
cool girl. But actually, not she was like she's still teaching. But the thing is, like I think she stopped during the pandemic, and that's how it just stopped. There were no hard feelings, anything. She was really strict, like a
okay, but
classic
she
teacher vibe. But she was
yeah.
really good.
But so you went there initially to study voice
Just to
with her.
communicate with
Yeah.
musicians, really.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
that was the intention. So I think at the time I played in a band too, and we had singers. So and I'm always really happy when I can be in the background just doing my stuff. I'm really happy that way. Um, I really didn't intend to sing, but then yeah. the pandemic hit and no more bands, no more music, no more
Yeah,
lessons.
and now you got pandemic
And
proof
now I
band.
have like what? Exactly. Exactly. Happy end. Yeah.
I'm sure another pandemic is on its way
Oh yeah.
before too
Yeah, but then I have to find another hobby. I don't.
long. Oh man. Well, all right. Are you aiming for any time for new material in your head? Are you thinking, oh, 2024, I'd like to have something?
2024 for sure. I think the last few months of the year, I don't want to rush anything, and I think it's getting busy, right? Like now Halloween is coming, and we have Friday the 13th. Like I think all post punk and goth bands will have something out there. I don't want to be missed, in the noise.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I know. I'm getting all these records. Hey, I'm getting in my messages. Hey, save this, pre-save. I'm like, okay,
exactly, but it's good.
October
As a
is gonna
consumer, I
be
love it. Like,
crowded. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. No, I listen to all of these. No, I'm not saying that. It's just I don't want to be,
Lost the shop. Yeah,
just lost in it. Exactly.
I may get lost
Um,
too. I got something in
exactly.
October.
And then Mariah Carey is waiting, and then middle of November she's jumping on us,
Then you
and
got
that's
your
it.
friends. Like I was like then Lucas
Exactly.
actually sent me his um I saw the thing and he was coming out October 27th, and that was when I was going to put something out. I was like, I can't do it. If I do the
No.
same day as Lucas, he'll think I did it on
Yeah.
purpose.
Cannibalizing your friends' music. No, no, no.
It's funny.
You don't want
Yeah,
to do
so
that. But the 2024,
now
definitely something's
I'm
coming.
coming out a week before Lucas.
Ah, nice, 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 nice. Okay, then who will interview you? I mean, you interview all of us, but then
Well, let me see what. Oh well, the first show I did actually, it was Jimmy from Tokyo Teens, and I interviewed him, and then we made an edit, and then he interviewed me on one of my
okay,
songs.
so you have a plan. Okay, that
Yeah,
sounds
yeah. And
good.
then the one I just did with James, we talked about his single, and then we talked about Alien a bit. So yeah, so I get a chance to. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do for this time, but we'll see. See what
Yeah,
happens.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Synth
but I
pop
know.
maybe with James. That you guys work
Yeah.
together well. I really would
Well, I
love
know
to hear
he's
more
well
synth pop.
he's got something coming out Friday. No.
He
We're
already
on the same
has.
day. We're on the same day. Yeah.
Ah, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we're on the
So
20th.
there's a new one coming.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you see?
Yeah, but he's got a solo thing. Yeah, and mine is
Hmm.
it's not a Scott Graham and Pain in the Ass thing. He mixed it. Yeah, on both
Awesome.
of mine. I only got two new songs.
Well,
Yeah,
send
yeah,
it
because I'm
across.
getting
I'm
confused. Yeah, because I know Kid Barrett is coming out Friday the 13th, and a few other people I noticed are coming out Friday the 13th because
yeah, busy days.
you can't pass up Friday the 13th in October.
I know, I know. I wish I thought about it earlier then. No, it's gonna be fun. I will sit
Yeah, I'm
in
looking
my
forward to all
headphones
the
like all
music.
day.
Yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
it.
Well, thanks for doing this. I know you were a
Oh,
bit nervous about doing it. You did a
I
great job. Did we
was,
have
but you
fun?
made
I
it
said we were
easy,
going
so
to have
thank you
fun.
so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I had fun, and thanks for having me. Yes, I was nervous, but you made it easy. So
And
no, it was
please
really fun.
come back in 2024 when the new stuff comes out. And I eagerly look forward to because I'm a big like what fan. I really love
Thank you. Thanks,
I
God.
really love this album particularly.
I
And
will definitely
yeah,
come back. Thanks.
and I
Thanks.
look forward to your next stuff.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks. Have a good one. Bye bye.